Ayubowan. Welcome everyone. My name is Shamila and I'm from KC Cardinal Libraries. Thank you so much for attending the Armchair Travel Series to Sri Lanka. It is such a pleasure to have you all on board to explore this beautiful nation on a virtual tour. Please let me give you a brief introduction to the country. Formerly known as Ceylon, Sri Lanka is surrounded by the Indian Ocean. It is an island with a long and rich written history spanning nearly 3,000 years and renowned for its ancient ruined civilizations and Buddhist heritage. Sri Lanka is also known as the Pearl of the Indian Ocean because of its incredible beauty and biodiversity, and it is a multi-religious nation with unique landmarks, breathtaking sceneries, sandy beaches, lush tea plantations, misty mountains, majestic waterfalls, incredible wildlife, and many other natural beauties. In addition to the beauty, history, culture, and the delicious food and the wonderful hospitality Sri Lankans are famous for, it has also become a great shopping hub in Southeast Asia. If you're planning a holiday, make Sri Lanka your next destination and make memories to last a lifetime. Please let me introduce you to Chamani, who will further dive deep into what this beautiful paradise has to offer. Over to you, Chamani.
Thank you, Shamila, for the great introduction. I'm Chamani from KC Cardinal Libraries. I was born and brought up in Sri Lanka before migrating to Australia a few years ago. It's my great pleasure and privilege to do this Armchair Travel Series on Sri Lanka. Travel is a lot different right now, and we won't be traveling for at least next 6 months. We hope that this Armchair Travel Series be an inspiration for future travel to come. Now let me take you on a journey to Sri Lanka. There is strong evidence of prehistoric settlements in Sri Lanka by about 125,000 BP. The earliest human remains and tools found on the island of Sri Lanka dated back to 8,000 years. The written historical period begins roughly in the 3rd century based on Buddhist chronicles like Mahavansha and Dipavansha. Sri Lanka was ruled by 181 monarchs from Anuradhapura to Kandy for 2,300 years. Sri Lanka has also been exposed to cultural influences from other Asian civilizations due to the location. Indian historic epics refer to it as Sri Lanka. Ancient Greek geographers call it Taprobane. Arabs refer to it as Serendip. Later, Europeans call it as Ceylon, a name still used occasionally for trade purposes. It officially became Sri Lanka in 1972. Let's see location of Sri Lanka on the world map. It's a tiny island in Indian Ocean, also referred as Pearl of the Indian Ocean. The black line across the map is the equator. As Sri Lanka is very closer to the equator, it has a tropical climate. Therefore, there are no seasons and only have monsoon rain season and dry season. So this tropical island has an average temperature ranging from 22 to 33 degrees in lowlands and 7 to 21 in central highlands. Therefore, there are no good or bad time to travel there and you can enjoy the island all year round. Let's see some facts about the country. This is a picture of Colombo, the commercial capital, where Sri Lanka is the main capital and it's about 10 kilometers from Colombo. There is a population of 22 million people in Sri Lanka, which is very close to Australian population. The area of Sri Lanka is 65,610 square kilometers, which is similar to the area of Tasmania. Population density is around 350 per square kilometer, where in Australia it's just 3 per square kilometer. Sri Lankan rupees, the currency in Sri Lanka. Sirima Bandaranaike was the first female prime minister in the world. Upon her party's victory in 1960 general election, she became prime minister for Ceylon and served 3 times. Let's see some demographic factors. Sinhalese are the majority with 75% of total population, followed by Tamils, Muslim, Burghers descended from Portuguese, Dutch and British who settled in Sri Lanka. Buddhism is the main religion of Sri Lanka, practiced by 70% of Sri Lanka's population. Also, there are Hindus, Islams, Catholics, Christians and other religions as well. Sinhalese is the language spoken widely in the country, with some communities speak Tamil as well. What sports do Sri Lankans play? Volleyball is the national sport, but cricket is more popular in Sri Lanka. Surfing and river water rafting are very popular among tourists. Let's move on to a map of Sri Lanka to see more popular places to visit. There are 8 World Heritage Sites named by UNESCO, where 6 are ancient cultural sites and 2 are natural sites which are popular due to their biodiversity. As you can see on the map, they are Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, Sigiriya, Dambulla, Kandy, Central Highlands, Singaraja and Galle. Let's begin with Anuradhapura. It is one of the most famous ancient cities in the world, based in the banks of historic Malwathuoya River. According to the preserved historical records, the city was built in the 5th century BC. However, the archaeological data put the date as far back as the 10th century BC. Anuradhapura considered as the golden era of the country. The city is famous for the ancient stupas which built as a shape of a dome. Huge stupas are the marvel of ancient civil engineering. Let's find out about stupas or temples in Anuradhapura. Ruwanvelisaya is a stupa of a dome-shaped structure containing Buddhist relics. It's considered to be the sacred for many Buddhists all over the world. It was built by King Dutugamunu in 140 BC. The stupa is one of the world's tallest ancient monuments, standing at 103 meters and with circumference of 290 meters. Next, the Thuparamaya is the oldest stupa in Sri Lanka and the first to build in the country after the introduction of Buddhism in 3rd century BC. The compound is paved with granite and there are 2 rows of stone pillars around it. During the early period, a dome-shaped roof was built around the stupas to protect them. Then the Jetavanaramaya was 122 meters and it was the world's tallest stupa and the 3rd tallest structure in the world when it was built by the king. Even today, as a brick monument, Jetavanaramaya still remains the tallest of its kind in the world with 71 meters. All the buildings in Anuradhapura were destroyed by the invaders when Anuradhapura was finally abandoned as the capital in 11th century. These monuments were destroyed and covered by jungle. Other than stupas, there are a lot of monuments in Anuradhapura. Let's find out about some of them. The Samadhi Buddha is a famous statue situated at Mahamevna Park in Anuradhapura. The Buddha is depicted in position of Dhyana Mudra, the posture of meditation, associated with his first enlightenment. This statue is 2.25 meters in height and carved from a dolomite marble. Then the Aukana statue. Aukana statue is a standing statue of the Buddha and has a height of more than 13 meters. The Aukana statue is one of the best examples of a standing statue constructed in ancient Sri Lanka and is It is now a popular tourist attraction. Murugala, also known as Guard Stone, is a unique feature of the ancient Anuradhapura. This round top stone carving located at the foot of steps leading to places of worship. Moonstone or Sandakadapahana. The evolution of the Guard stone is closely linked to the evolution of the moonstone. It is an elaborately carved semicircular stone slab, usually placed at the bottom of the steps at the entrance. It's also symbolizing the life cycle of Buddhism. The carving has a lotus carved in the center, which was enclosed by several concentric bands. The most important band has carvings of 4 animals: elephants, lions, horses, and bulls. These 4 animals followed each other in a procession symbolizing the 4 noble truths of life, birth, old age, disease, and death. Twin ponds is one of the best remaining examples of bathing tanks or pools in ancient Sri Lanka. These are known as Kuttampokuna or twin ponds. Then the world-famous tree, Jayashree Mahabodhi, is a sacred tree in Anuradhapura. It is said to be the branch from historical Sri Mahabodhi at Bodh Gaya in India, under which Lord Buddha attained enlightenment. It was planted in 288 BC in Anuradhapura. Also, it is the oldest living human-planted tree in the world with a known planting date. There were hospitals in that ancient time and had different treatment methods being used. They had medical equipment and surgical instruments over 1,000 years ago. Medical boats were used commonly to treat the thousands of monks been living in these ancient cities. These were made by carving a stone. There is a picture of the medicine boat in Trove, which is an Australian online library database. The Lower Mahapaya, in ancient times, Buddhist monks assembled to recite sutras of the confessional. It is also known as the Brazen Palace because the roof was covered with bronze tiles. The 9-story building was built on 1600 stone pillars and took 6 years to complete it. This remained the tallest building until it was fully destroyed in 1000 AD. Royal Park is another tourist attraction in Anuradhapura. It was mainly known for its rock-sculptured bathing ponds with sophisticated hydromechanism. A pressure difference enables the pumping of water from nearby Thistle Lake to the swimming pools of the garden. The pools themselves display a clever use of science, technology, engineering, and craftsmanship in constructing a luxury swimming pool in ancient time. Stargate is a strange map carved to a stone wall in Royal Park of ancient time. A stargate is believed to be a gateway between the Earth and the outer space, communicating and engaging with other intelligent beings or aliens in the universe. This chart is believed to be the secret code to access in the stargate. Irrigation systems during ancient Anuradhapura. The lakes or the reservoirs have been built as a result of making clay bricks like the kind used in building stupas. However, these lakes been filled with rainwater and been used for cultivation and other water requirements during dry season. Ancient Sri Lankans are celebrated for their indigenous knowledge in irrigation systems. Yodala, an 87-kilometer long water canal, is a construction dependent on remarkable instrumentation precision with gradient or slope of 10 centimeter per kilometer in flat land. Anuradhapura was abandoned in the 12th century and the kingdom has been moved to Polonnaruwa. This is an incredible historic area with lots of sites to visit. Watadage is an ancient monument from Polonnaruwa. The tooth relic of Lord Buddha was kept and worshipped during 12th century. Next, the Royal Palace, a magnificent structure of 31 meters by 13 meters, had 7 stories. The ruins left for up to 3 floors and the top floors must have been made from wood. And the Lanka Tilaka, the thick walls are 4 meters and the height of it is 17 meters. The standing position Buddha statue is the main attraction in the temple. Kalvihare is one of the main attractions from Polonnaruwa. This magnificent rock temple has 4 Buddha statues been carved on a gigantic rock face. There are 2 sitting statues, 1 standing statue and 1 recliner position statue in the monument. Sigiriya, the lion rock rises mysteriously from the jungle, a marvelous rock, great climb and amazing view from the top. The environment around Sigiriya may have been inhabited since prehistoric times. There is much evidence that Sigiriya and surrounding rocks were occupied by Buddhist monks in 5000 years ago. In 5th century, King Kashyapa was hiding from his brother in the rock palace after killing his father. He rebuilt it while he was hiding in the rock. After King Kashyapa's suicide, the palace was given to Buddhist monks again and has been occupied for centuries. The Sigiriya contains the ruins of an upper palace located at the flat top of the rock, a mid-level terrace that includes the Lion Gate. The polished mirror wall is a significant feature in the verses scribbled on it in later stage. Sigiriya is also considered as the 8th wonder as well, with beautiful frescoes. Although the frescoes are classified as in the Anuradhapura period, the painting style is considered unique, and there are 18 of them. These paintings have a close resemblance to paintings seen in Ajanta and Ellora caves in India. The moats, walls, and gardens of palace extended for few hundred meters from the base of the rock. The site was both a palace and a fortress. The gardens of the Sigiriya city are one of the most important aspects of the site, as it is among the oldest landscaped gardens in the world. The gardens are divided into 3 forms: water gardens, cave gardens, and terrace gardens. Also, water being pumped up to top of the rock using underground water system. Still, it operates automatically during heavy rains. Experts assume that there would have been an elevator used in the rock. The same concept, space elevator, being used by famous science fiction author Arthur C. Clarke in his 1979 novel, The Fountain of Paradise. Arthur C. Clarke emigrated and lived in Sri Lanka for 52 years, and he did a lot of writing based on Sri Lankan background. Some scenes from the music video for the 1982 single Save a Prayer by Duran Duran were filmed at the top of Sigiriya. Sigiriya was featured in the 11th episode of The Amazing Race in 2005. Moving to the Dambulla cave temple, this was inhabited by forest-dwelling monks since the 3rd century BC. These 5 separate natural caves have been used continuously throughout the historical period. It's also famous for the paintings on the wall. Sigiriya can also be visible from 20 kilometers distance from the top of the cave temple. The next is the last kingdom of Sri Lanka, Kandy. It is in the Central Highlands. Royal moved the kingdom to highlands to avoid continuous invasion from the other countries in 1469. The Kandy Tooth Relic Temple is located in the Royal Palace complex of the former Kingdom of Kandy. The octagonal building, Pattirippu, is a unique feature to the temple. Buddhist monks perform the rituals daily. Since the ancient period, the person who holds the tooth relic governs the country. Later, Kandy was captured by the English in 1815. Kandy Perahera is one of Sri Lanka's foremost religious celebrations with colorful lights, festive noises, dances, and spectacular decorations. Tooth relic casket taken around the city in the month of August. The procession consists of traditional Kandyan dances in addition to the elephants who are usually adorned with lavish colorful garments. Devadana Nilame is the chief lay custodian of the temple, formerly the king. He resplended in a costume of an embroidered tunic and shining silk of some 20 yards wrapped around his waist with a headgear of four-cornered golden coronet. Kandyan dance, a traditional dance developed in Kandy area and now been practicing not only in Sri Lanka but the whole world. There are 18 types and were inspired by nature, history, legend, folk art, etc. and each is composed and interpreted in a certain mode or expression. Kandyan dancers perform with a variety of events ranging from weddings to huge official functions. Dancers wear traditional colorful costume with headdress, traditional drums and other instruments used for the music. Then move to agriculture in Sri Lanka. Rice is a staple food in Sri Lanka and almost every household enjoy rice and curry as main meal. Rice cultivates in all districts of Sri Lanka during two monsoon seasons and have been cultivating for more than 2000 years. Also, the ideal climate conditions yielded a flourishing crop. Next, tea plantation. Tea plantation has been introduced to the country in 1867 after failing coffee due to a disease. The humidity, cool temperatures, and rainfall of the country's central highlands provide a climate that favors the production of high-quality tea. After the introduction of tea, the Sri Lankan economy transformed from traditional economy to a plantation economy. Sri Lankan tea continues to have international success with flavors and aromas. Sri Lanka remains on top in exporting tea to the world. Spices. Sri Lanka has always been known for the fabulous number of spices that are grown and it is one of the reasons that Portuguese, Dutch and British tried to gain the control of it. Spices enhance the color, fragrance and flavor of food. In addition, many of them also have many health benefits. Used in the right combination, spices can turn the simplest food into an aromatic and delicious dish. Sri Lanka is the number one producer and exporter of Ceylon cinnamon. Cinnamon is native to Sri Lanka and has been found in ancient Egypt as early as 1500 BC, suggesting early trade between Egypt and the island's inhabitants. Apart from cinnamon, Sri Lanka produces all sorts of other spices like turmeric, clove, pepper, cardamom, and nutmeg. The queen of spices, cardamom, which is native to Sri Lanka, is one of the expensive spices grown in Sri Lanka. Let's move on to gems. The gem industry in Sri Lanka has very long and colorful history with best sapphires, topazes and other gems in the world. Nearly all the gem formation in Sri Lanka are located in central high country. It has been estimated that nearly 25% of the total land area of Sri Lanka is potentially gem-bearing, making Sri Lanka one of the countries with the highest density of gem deposits compared to its landmass. Indigenous medicine or Hela Vedakama is an ancient wisdom tradition of healthcare and healing practices inherited by cultural heritage unique to native people. The system has been practiced for many centuries in the island based on a series of prescriptions handed down from generation to generation over a period of 3000 years. There are meditation centers popular among tourists, located either within a forest or on a hilltop or in a cave, which are considered to be very natural environments isolated from society. All these retreats are for beginners as well as experienced people to learn and practice spiritual development in a peaceful environment. Teachings are available in English from resident teachers. Next, the rivers and waterfalls in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a country with 51 natural waterfalls and 103 rivers on the entire island. The tallest is 263 meters in height. The longest river, Mahavali, is 335 kilometers long. Next, Singharaja Forest Reserve. Singharaja is a forest reserve and a biodiversity hotspot in Sri Lanka with numerous varieties of flora and fauna. More than 60% of the trees are endemic and many of them are considered rare. There is much endemic wildlife as well. Bandura is an endemic plant that has developed some of nature's most unique ways of survival in tropical jungles of Sri Lanka. They emit a sweet scent that seduces an insect to an irresistible meal of nectar. Once attracted, its doom is sealed. The way out for the insect becomes a bleak and endless struggle of life and death ensues. Next is Ella. Ella is famous tourist hotspot for its 9-arch rail bridge and the profuse greenery in the nearby hill country. You can see the 9-arch rail bridge in the first photograph. Ella is easily accessible by train from Kandy or Colombo and the scenery is very beautiful. Next, the beaches. Beaches are around the country. The Sri Lankan beaches are well known for their idyllic looks and beautiful scenery. Tourists visit Sri Lanka for best golden beaches with crashing waves of the Indian Ocean. These golden beaches have blue water, coral reef, surfing waves, and even migrating whales. Whale watching and sea turtle conservation are popular attractions. If you are into surfing, Sri Lanka is the best place as it caters to all experience levels. The waves in Sri Lanka are not that giant but smaller and longer. If you are on a small holiday or not into surfing, you can either spend a couple of hours for lunch and walk along the beach, enjoying the lovely view. Sri Lanka has the best sunset view throughout the western beaches. I personally agree with it, but I cannot explain how beautiful view over the Indian Ocean. It's amazing. Once again, when the island is ready to receive visitors with open arms, the many beautiful beaches in Sri Lanka await. The Gold Fort, surrounded by beautiful beaches, it has a colorful history and today has a multi-ethnic and multicultural population. The Gold Fort is a mixture between the Dutch and the British cultures, and it has everything you can think of: a church, a mosque, a temple, a court, house, restaurants, etc. The fort is one of the modern wonders of the world. The heritage value of the fort has been recognized by the UNESCO, and the site has been inscribed as a Cultural Heritage UNESCO World Heritage Site. Next, the turtle conservation. The territorial waters in Indian Ocean is also home to a rich and varied marine life. 5 species of sea turtles and 25 species of whales and dolphins inhabit these coastal waters. Sea turtles are large, air-breathing reptiles that inhabit tropical and subtropical seas throughout the world. They spend most of their lives in water, and females must come ashore to lay their eggs in the sand. Therefore, all sea turtles begin their lives as tiny hatchling on land and live longer as 100 years. Sea turtles are globally threatened and many species are now facing extinction. Sea turtle projects focus on conservation and provide a better habitat for turtles. Conservatives give an opportunity to get up close chance to see turtle eggs, baby turtles, and they are released to the ocean. Next, the wildlife. Sri Lanka's Big Five: leopards, elephants, sloth bear, blue whale, and sperm whale are known as the country's great wildlife attractions. Also, large herds of spotted deer are seen all over the wildlife sanctuaries. Pink monkeys and grey-faced monkeys are common in the country. As at dusk, there is every chance of seeing the Ceylon sloth bear or a leopard. Whale watching is a popular tourist attraction in recent times. Sri Lanka ranked in the top 3 countries in the world to see whales. The next is Sri Lankan leopards. Sri Lankan leopard is a leopard subspecies endemic to Sri Lanka. It has a tawny or rusty yellow coat with dark spots which are smaller than Indian leopards. Sri Lankan leopard has become a rather large leopard subspecies where males reach about 100 kilograms. Wild leopards population roughly estimated as 700 to 1,000. The survival of the Sri Lankan leopard is threatened due to habitat loss or killed by traps. Yala Sanctuary in south has the most densely populated leopard presence in the earth, but sightings of these creatures are still very rare. If you are lucky enough to see a leopard, it is an experience that you will remember forever. Next, the largest mammal in the land, the elephants. While the elephant is undoubtedly the best known attraction of Sri Lanka, seen in small or large herds, elephant gatherings take place in the country's wildlife parks, which are renowned over the world for being one of the best locations to see elephant herds and observe their behavior. As large as 400 elephants have been recorded in the past. Elephants in Sri Lanka feature small ears and a more curved spine when compared with African elephants, and only males have tusks. Elephant calves live with their mothers for up to 5 years, after which males disperse. Females continue to live in the herd. The best place to see elephants in Sri Lanka is in their natural habitat. Elephants can be seen all year round, sometimes even outside of the parks when they cross elephant corridors. In Sri Lanka and throughout Asia, some of the world's larger remaining wild elephant herds face threats to their survival from increase in human population and their activities. In Sri Lanka, that is home to an estimated 6,000 wild elephants. Fortunately, they are relatively safe from poaching since only 7% of Asian elephants have tusks. In Sri Lanka, it is even lower, with just an estimated 2% of the elephants have tusks. In Sri Lanka, abandoned elephants who cannot survive in the wild find refuge at an elephant farm at Pinnawala, 90 kilometers from Colombo. The orphans arrive from across the country, rescued from remote villages where they have lost their mothers to accidents or shootings. They feed, groom, care for elephants on the farm. The babies drink milk from super-sized bottles. However, observing these huge mammals on land in happy and free in wild is a magical experience. Native birds. Sri Lanka has more than 400 species of birds consisting of residents, visitors and migrants. Of these, 26 species are endemic to island. The peacock is the most famous of the birds in the country, and jungle fowl is the national bird, and plenty of places to spot them all. Next, the flowers. A tropical island with its diverse collection of flora are garlanded with wildflowers like nowhere else in the world. Water lily is the national flower, which is in the first picture and can be seen widely. Sri Lanka, with its unique tropical and cooler climates, has over 185 identified species of orchids. The last picture is of an orchid, look like a traditional Kandian dancer. Sri Lanka would be an ideal getaway to look into this nature with colorful shades, fragrance, and nectar. Fruits. There are a lot of native fruits grown in the country all year round, and the prices of buying fruit are very nominal. Sri Lanka is famous for the king coconut, and the coconut water is very delicious. Usually, they cut it open for you to drink. Sri Lanka is famous for a huge variety of fruits like juicy mangoes, pineapples, bananas, papayas, with sweet and tangy flavors that are full of nutrients. Jackfruit is a unique giant fruit. Soursop is native juicy fruit and remedy for cancer too. Also, tropical avocado, guava, rambutan, mangosteen, durian will make you taste buds queer. Make sure to taste delicious fruits when you are in tropical island. Next, the vegetables in Sri Lanka. On top of Sri Lanka's climate advantage, the fertile soils, agricultural facilities, irrigation systems, and distributed rainfall patterns are quite conducive to the cultivation of crops. Traveling to Sri Lanka will make you taste exotic Sri Lankan vegetables like bitter gourd, snake gourd, jackfruit, pennywort, lotus root, banana blossom, and variety of yams. Traditionally, in Sri Lanka, the vegetables, including those non-indigenous food varieties, are prepared as curries to accompany the meal of rice. The curries are prepared by cooking these vegetables with chilies, spices, and coconut milk. Seafood plays a significant role in cuisine. Traditional dessert in Sri Lanka is kaum, an oil cake made with rice flour and treacle, which is similar to maple syrup, and deep fried to a golden brown color. Most of the sweets are made with treacle and rice flour. Vatalapan is introduced by Malay immigrants and has become a staple of Sri Lankan desserts. There are a variety of snacks or finger food where pan rolls are a famous delicacy. Arak is a distilled alcoholic drink typically produced in the country, made from a fermented sap of coconut flour. Famous street food kuttu is a spicy stir-fry of shredded roti bread with vegetables. Optional ingredients include eggs, fish, meat, or cheese. You can't even visit Sri Lanka and leave without eating kuttu roti. In the late evenings, you will be greeted with sounds of street vendors making kuttu roti from a fair distance away, using steel chopping blades with their own beat and rhythm, followed immediately by the aroma of a delicious meal, kuttu roti. Let's see some Sinhalese phrases. This might help you if you're traveling to Sri Lanka. Also, you can use the language with Sri Lankans as well. How do you say hello? Ayubowan, which means greeting for long life. How are you? Kohomada. And the answer would be fine. Varadak ne. Thank you very much. Bohuma stuti. Please, as Karuna kara. I don't understand. Mata තේරෙන්නේ නෑ. Do you speak English? ඔයාට ඉංග්‍රීසි කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? I don't speak Sinhalese. මම සිංහල දන්නේ නෑ. How much is it? මේක කීයද? Wait a minute. පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්න. Hotel, hotele. Food, කෑම. Yes, or no, නෑ. This is the end of the presentation and I hope you enjoyed it. It was really lovely for being with you today and sharing all of this information with you. And I hope you have inspired some of you to visit this beautiful country when you get a chance. Over to you, Chamila, for questions.
That was a wonderful insight to our beautiful paradise. Well described about our proud history and culture. Thank you, Chamani. So we'll go through the questions. The first question is from Jess. She wants to know what's the best time to visit Sri Lanka?
Generally speaking, January to September inclusive is the best time to visit Sri Lanka. However, it's like that you will see rain at some points during your trip, no matter whenever you visit. In March, April, and May, it's likely that you will get afternoon thunderstorms, but it's quite nice experience when there is rain around. However, the weather is unpredictable during later months of the year. Despite a shower, a warm, sunny climate is always guaranteed.
Thanks, Chamani. So there's a comment from Claudia. She says, thank you, and it was very informative. And there's another one from Caroline. Thank you for the presentation. It was beautiful and interesting. So the next question is from Sarah. What kind of clothes should be worn when you're there?
It actually depends in where you are. Religious places have a strict protocol when it comes to clothes, where people should cover themselves up. You are not allowed to wear t-shirts, short skirts, and shorts. However, other than that, you can wear almost anything that goes with the warm climate. Sundresses, shorts, t-shirts, sandals, thongs, some of the clothes that you can wear in warm, humid weather.
A compliment from Tina said that she's been to Sri Lanka in 2018 and her memory is refreshed by watching the Armchair Travel Series. Thank you very much for your lovely comment, Tina. Yes, it refreshed my memories too about the places that I visited a couple of years ago, especially climbing the rainforest, Sigiriya, and the whale watching in Marissa. So we'll go through the next question. It is from Anne. What about accommodation? Where can I stay in Sri Lanka?
The options are again endless here. 5-star hotels, motels, resorts, bungalows, cabanas, villas, which are rented out according to your needs. There are guest houses, even homestay, and many more places can be used for accommodation. You can book these according to your needs and budget.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Chamani. I hope that helps. There's another comment from Sandra. She's saying, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was beautiful and interesting. And there's another one comment from Annie. She says, great talk. What's the best way to get around? Train, bus?
You can, they are very nominal, and so you can use train as well as bus as well. And also you have tuk-tuks, the three-wheelers, they are very cheap as well. So if you tell the driver, they will take you to a longer distance. The country is small, so you can use them as well. But there are trains and buses going to most of the cities.
Thank you, Chamani. We have another question. It's about our traditional medicines. That question is from Christine. She's asking, how can I get access to it?
Sri Lanka is boasts a very ancient medicine system that can be used by almost anyone. So there are a lot of spas. Also, there are indigenous medicine hospitals which can use. And also, there are special packages offered by the hotel. So when you book in hotels, you can ask whether they are offering them, or they can also arrange some specially for you as well.
Thanks, Chamani. I'll read another comment. This is from Madhavi, and she says she enjoyed thoroughly and loved watching the country she was born in. Thank you, Madhavi, for that comment. We'll go to another question. It's about our elephants. Where can you see wild elephants in Sri Lanka, and how far is it from Colombo? And that question is from Tom.
There are about 6,000 elephants in Sri Lanka. The best place would be either Minneria, Kaudulla, or Vaskamo National Parks. It's about 180 kilometers from Colombo and very closer to Sigiriya. So you'll be able to see 200 to 300 gatherings all the time. The other place would be Udawalawa National Park towards southeast. The park is quite small and much of the landscape is open, which makes it perfect for spotting elephants. You are almost getting to see elephants in that Udawalawa Park. There's another one, Yala National Park. It's about 200 kilometers from Colombo in south, and it's a huge park. So there can be seen in small groups there, but you'll be able to also see leopards and sloth bears in Yala National Park.
This comment from Carrie Robertson. She's saying, I have been to Sri Lanka and this presentation has made me want to go again soon. Thank you. I'm wondering if there is an organization working to preserve the ancient sites and how they might be funded.
There is Sri Lankan Archaeology Department. They are doing the preserving, and also there's record of they found some prehistoric bows and arrows 48,000 BP, and this research has been done by the Griffith University in Australia combined with the archaeological department. So basically, archaeological department in Sri Lanka is doing most of the preservations and doing all these historic sites activities.
Yes, thank you, Chamani. This question is from Tanya. She's asking, is it safe to travel to Sri Lanka?
Almost 10 years after the end of civil war, Sri Lanka has been named the best country in the world to visit. In 2019 by Lonely Planet, and in 2018 they had received 2.3 million tourists. And if you didn't have a chance to visit yet, I think after all these restrictions are over, you are welcome to explore this beautiful country.
Yes, thank you, Chamani. So this is going to be our last question for today. Where do you find the best tea in Sri Lanka? And that's one of my best questions too. That is from Eden.
Sri Lanka has a 150-year-old tea industry. The best tea can be found in Central Highlands. The humidity, the cool temperatures, and the rainfall of the Central Highlands provide a climate that flavors the production of high-quality tea. You can visit these tea plantations and tea factories and learn how about tea picking and the processing. Also, you can enjoy some of the finest Sri Lankan tea in those factories. Also, you can buy tea from most of the cities. There are a lot of tea shops available, and you can buy it anywhere in the country.
And I personally think it is a must item if you are traveling to the hill country to visit a tea factory, isn't it, Chamani? It's
it's amazing experience. Yeah.
Yes. So that's, and we have lots of comments, and thank you so much for all your comments here. And Kerry Robertson says, thank you so much for all the organizers and the presenter.
Thank you, Kerry.
And thank you for all your lovely comments. And so that comes to the end of all our questions. Chamani, you want to?
Yeah, it's been so lovely to do this Armchair Travel Series on Sri Lanka with KC Kardinia Libraries. Stay safe and hang on to this pandemic situation until we have real travel in near future.
And it is such a pleasure to conduct this program on behalf of KC Kardinia Libraries. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did presenting it to you. Until we see you again, bye for now, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.